What's up, everybody? Chris Gault here, Healthy Living with Chris Gault, and we are on, can't believe this, week 12 of our vlog of our plant-based vegan journey. Still going strong, still loving it, and this is a great life. And well, just buckle up and stay tuned. All right, so we're doing another run as we open up week 12. Wow, that guy was moving fast. And we're out here, it's a beautiful day. The beach is beautiful. You probably can hear me too well. Robin, do you have anything to add?
No, except for we're going down a big downhill now, so I'm not looking forward to coming back.
Yeah, we'll be going uphill in a second. That's the uphill. But we got a beautiful view here. It's hard to run with not bouncing the camera around, so I'm sorry about that. On our walk, we can tell it's getting warmer here in sunny Cal because our dog is getting a little hot, so she needs a little breather. So usually she'll just sit in the shade for a little while and then she'll get up and start walking again. And this just tells us that it's probably about time for her to get groomed again, just so she could remain cool when she's walking around. Alright, so if you've seen any of my other vegan, my plant-based vlogs, any of the other weeks, you'll know that there's a part in there where I share a little bit of something that I found on the internet that's about the vegan way of life or the plant-based way of life. I found this called the Flamin Vegan. So you can always Google the Flamin Vegan. And it's a vegan and vegetarian blogging extravaganza is what they call it. So you can always Google that. And there's an article that they put up here called 10 Fantastic Vegan Facts. So I was going to read those to you, and I wasn't going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to go over it quickly. But basically, some of these you probably already heard of. Some of these I've heard of before. But some of these I didn't. So I thought I was kind of surprised. And that's what I like about these different articles is some of them add something a little different than others, even though there might be some overlap, which is okay, I guess. Anyway, it says, the first one says, grain that is used to feed livestock for meat production could feed 1.3 billion people. Now, I think I talked about that in a previous version of my video, so it shouldn't be new to hear that if you've been watching them. But if you haven't been watching them, it's probably new to you. 1.3 billion people, there's 7.6 billion or 7.7 billion people in the world, so 1.3, it's a huge amount of people that could be fed if we didn't feed the grains and to the livestock. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, number two, and I'm gluten-free, so I don't eat wheat, but this one's about wheat. It says wheat is earth-friendly. You probably heard that it takes a lot of water to produce meat. In actual fact, it takes 2,500 gallons to make just 1 pound of meat. So think about it, 2,500 gallons of water to make 1 pound of meat. On the other hand, it only takes 25 gallons of our valuable water to grow 1 pound of wheat. And I'm assuming that's about with almost any kind of plant-based food. Especially the grains probably take up the same amount of water. I know some things, different plants take different amounts of water. It's a lot closer probably to the 25 gallons than it is to the 2,500. There's probably not one plant-based food out there that takes 2,500. I do know that almonds take a lot of water, but I don't think they take anywhere near that. So it's pretty interesting to see that you could save an awful lot of water just by not having meat products. And again, I'm not saying that anyone should stop eating meat if you're eating meat. I'm not telling anybody anything. I'm just giving some information out, and then you can always make your decision on what you have to make your decision. Who am I to tell anybody what they can do? It's legal, and so I'm not going to take the route that says you have to go a certain route. I'm just going to give some information out, and everyone has to make an informed decision. And my whole point is that information is power, and I think that the more information you have, the more powerful decision you can make and better decision you can make on what you want to do with your life. But it is your life. Number 3 says most cases of food poisoning, up to 80%, is due to infected meat. So the good thing is that most 20%, I guess, of food poisoning comes from plants, but it's a very small amount compared to how many the cases are come from meat. So, and we know that some of the deadlier ones come from meat. I mean, there are some we know that plant bases. I know like romaine lettuce sometimes gets contaminated, but in general, meat products are going to have worse diseases than plant diseases. Number 4, reports that vegans are healthier are not myth-based. According to the American Dietetic Association, the ADA, and you can look this up, people who follow a vegan or vegetarian diet tend to display lower blood cholesterol, and I can attend to that. I mean, I can attest to that. I know that that's true because I've seen mine go down. Lower blood pressure, less chance of getting colon and prostate cancer, and a decreased rate of ischemic heart disease. So, I mean, I think that's fantastic that being vegan or vegetarian helps you out. So not eating meat is going to definitely help you out with those diseases. All right, so like number 5 says, shockingly, every hour in the United States, 500,000 animals are killed for their meat. Now, I mentioned that last time in one of my other vlogs, one of the other weeks, but that's pretty shocking. I thought 500,000 animals per hour in the United States alone. That doesn't even include all the other countries out there. So an awful lot of animals are put to death for consumption. Number 6, although people are consuming too many antibiotics for their own health, about 3 million pounds annually in the United States alone, animals receive even more. Livestock are fed up to 17.8 million pounds a year, and this number could actually be less than what it has really been given to them. So it's probably, not everyone is forthright in coming with information, so probably there's more in that. The thing that bothers me more about this, and you probably heard me say it before, is not only that if you buy a piece of meat and you eat, or any animal protein, it could be milk, eggs, or meat. One of the problems is the reason why they give antibiotics to these animals is because they treat them so badly, and the animals have so much stress in their lives, and they're living such horrid lives that they get sick. And so they're giving them the antibiotics to keep them alive so they don't die. So think about that. You're getting a piece of animal product when you're putting it in your body. Not only is it loaded with antibiotics, which you don't want to have, and steroids, but it also, you have an animal that would have been dead, would have died if they didn't give it to them. So you're basically eating a very sick animal, and you're putting that in your body. And so that's one of the real main reasons why I definitely don't eat it anymore, because I just really am mindful about what I put in my body, and I definitely don't want to put that junk in my body. All right. Number 7 says, you're actively doing your bit to save the forest by being vegan. Forests are alarmingly cleared so that the land can be used for crops, so that the meat-based diets can be produced. Each year, just one person who sticks to a vegetarian diet will save an entire acre of trees. So think about that. Just one person who goes to a plant-based diet is going to save a whole entire acre of trees. I mean, that's huge. An acre's big. So I thought it was pretty wild. You might not think it's so wild. I think it's wild. Anyway, number 8. By not eating meat, you are also helping to ease the problem of pollution. Among 20% of pollution that is man-made originates from the meat industry. This has placed factory farming ahead of transportation in how much it contributes to the planet's greenhouse effect. Now, I've mentioned that in the past, so you probably know that if you've been watching my vlogs. If you haven't, maybe it's new to you or maybe it's not. But basically what they're saying is there's more greenhouse gases in CO2 that is created from the meat industry than in processing these animals than there is from all the automobiles out there driving around. I mean, think about that. That's huge. I mean, that's gigantic. So definitely helping out climate change if we all go to a plant-based diet. And if I know it's not going to be easy because there are a lot of people who do get their livelihood in the animal product industry, but hopefully they can find other jobs as we move to more plant-based. You're going to need more people. If you take away the meat, you need to get more people to do the plants, and they can always move into something like that, and that would definitely be kinder to our planet. And that's something that I'm really big on lately too, is that we want to give the planet to our kids and their kids and their kids in better shape than we got it. And the way we're going, as you know, we're not. And you can listen to politicians, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about anybody, but you can listen to politicians about it who aren't scientists, most of them, they're lawyers, most of them, or you can listen to the scientists. And who do you think knows more about what affects the planet? I would go with the scientists and the facts over a politician that might have a reason why they say the things that they say. I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to get political. Number 9, contrary to popular belief, there are many supermarket products that are vegan. These include even processed snack foods like Oreos. Now, it says they don't contain real dairy. Now, that doesn't surprise me, but they don't contain real anything. So I wouldn't go and eat Oreos, just to be plant-based, because it's probably one of the worst foods you can eat, in my humble opinion. But anyway, it says, and dark chocolate. Now, dark chocolate is, I do eat a dark chocolate every night, two little squares, and it's very low sugar in it because I eat a darker chocolate, and it is vegan. There's no milk or anything like that in it, and I think that's fantastic. Anyway, it says a good tip when shopping. So I didn't know this part. A good tip when shopping: products that are listed as cholesterol free. So if it's cholesterol free, are often vegan. Because as bad cholesterol only comes from animal products. So basically, if it's cholesterol free, the chance of it coming from an animal is probably nil, because all the products that come from animals have levels of cholesterol in it. So I thought that was pretty interesting. You're not getting cholesterol in your body if you stick with a vegan diet. And we do know that cholesterol levels drop like a rock. And people can say, and I know, and I'm not cracking on anybody's belief or anything, but I know there are diets out there that do talk about eating lots of meat and fat, saturated fat, and they say that even though the cholesterol levels are gigantically high, that it's okay, and the doctors don't know what they're talking about. But if you talk to any medical doctor, any reputable medical doctor is going to tell you that high levels of cholesterol are bad. And so you could try to convince me if you want in the comments. If you want to put things in the comments there, fine, try to. But medical doctors will tell you that high levels of cholesterol in the body are not good for you. And if you do go to a plant-based diet, we know that will drop your cholesterol levels up to or over like around 100 points. I mean, that's huge. 100. I mean, that's gigantic. Anyway, moving on. Number 10 says, vegan foods are frequently lower in calories because they give, let's see, what does it say? They give a miss to unhealthy fats. I'm not sure what the heck that means, but the only thing I think they're saying is there isn't any unhealthy fats, or there's very little unhealthy fats in vegan foods, or at least they're lower, I should say. I shouldn't say there isn't any. They're lower because they're lower in calories because they don't have. I'm having a really hard time with this one. I don't know why. I'll say it right now. I'm not a complete moron, so I'll just say it right now. vegan foods are lower in calories because they don't have a bunch of saturated unhealthy fats in them like you do see in animal products. And unsaturated, saturated fats, I don't know why I'm really having a hard time. Saturated fats are actually one of the main reasons why cholesterol levels skyrocket and you get plaque in the veins, which gives you heart disease. So, because it really gets your heart to have to work overtime to get that blood through those veins. So, you know, that's a win-win right there. So anyway, I know I had a hard time with that last one. I don't know why. Sometimes I, you know, have a problem up there. I don't know why. But maybe it has something to do with being plant-based. I don't think so, though. I think it might have something to do with being 59, but, you know. Anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. And again, this came from the Flamin Vegan. So if you ever wanted to go in there, you can check it out. And this was an article that they put up. And the article was 10 fantastic vegan facts. And I will leave it there. So one other tidbit of information I found out after I read that article to you is that it takes about 1,000 gallons of water to make 1 gallon of milk. So think about that. So not only is that stuff really not meant for human consumption, if you think about it, it's breast milk for cows, but it also isn't really that good for the environment if you think about it, if it takes 1,000 gallons of water just to make it. And that's because the cow has to drink a lot of water just to make that 1 gallon of milk. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that as well. All right, so we're just taking a little break from our bike ride. We're looking at this furniture store because we're looking for some furniture for our rooftop deck. And we're just taking a quick break. Right, Robin?
Yep.
Got anything to say?
No, we're just going to head on down the road again.
Just head on down the road and then back. All right, so we're near the ocean near Swami's. This is where our destination was, so now we're going to ride back. But we're going to have a quick break here, have a little bit of food, right?
Yep.
And then we'll get back on the road. Anything? Nothing. Nothing at all. It is a beautiful day out though, I have to say that. And well, you can take a look. A few people down there at the beach walking around, you can see. But overall it's kind of quiet because the beach is kind of closed, I think. At least to parking. All right, we're back on the ride. All right, I usually don't recommend just buying a pack of something and, you know, it's processed, but I don't think this was really processed. This is jackfruit, and it's supposed to look like pulled pork. It's barbecue, so it's going to hopefully taste a little bit like a pulled pork sandwich, but it's jackfruit. So let me show you a little closer. So that's what it's looking like. I'm just heating it up. So hopefully it turns out okay. We'll see. If you don't know what jackfruit is, it's that really big green fruit that you see sometimes in the grocery store, and it's got all these little jagged things in it, but it's gigantic. And I guess it has a consistency of pulled pork. So I'm going to give it a try. We're going to see what it looks like. I'm going to put it on Ezekiel bread because I'm gluten-free too. And so Ezekiel bread is very healthy bread that's gluten-free. So I'm going to give that a try and see what this baby tastes like. So just to see what it does to it, I'm going to throw in a little bit of peppers, a little bit of mushrooms, and a little bit of onions with my jackfruit and see if that makes it, you know, actually I think it'll make it a little healthier. And because I love garlic, I'm going to throw a little bit of that in too. Oops, got a little too much there, but you can see that. I'm going to spin that around a little bit, and I'm going to add a little more barbecue sauce. All right, so this is done. You can see what it looks like. And I'm just going to scoop it on. This is just Ezekiel bread. I toasted it a little bit. I'm going to make a couple of sandwiches here. And I guess we'll see what they taste like. Hopefully it tastes a little bit like what I used to remember barbecue tasting like. But not exactly gonna bank on it, let me put it that way. All right, these babies are ready for the tops to go on. Now I got my 2 sandwiches. I know it looks like a lot for a meal, but that's gonna be my dinner. And I got some vegetables on there now, and obviously the base is the jackfruit. So I think it's gonna taste pretty good. All right, I'm gonna see what this thing tastes like. It's actually not bad, but it doesn't taste like pulled pork to me. All right, so week 12 is a wrap. We're done. I can't believe that we've actually been vegan for about a quarter of a year now. That was a lot longer than I thought, and we're still going strong. So we're probably gonna be on this for the rest of our lives. And I'm just gonna leave you now with a beautiful sunset and a little bit of peaceful music, just to remind us, you know, how grateful we all should be to be blessed with this beautiful world that we have. And I know we're going through some tough times right now, but we'll get through it, and we'll probably be stronger for it. We'll probably learn from it, but we'll get through this pandemic. And I just want to say enjoy, and I will see you next week. If you like this video, please click on the thumbs up button, and also please subscribe and click on the notification button to get all this great content that's coming up every week. Thank you.